Manchester by the Sea is one of the most powerful films of the past 10 years. Starring Casey Affleck, Lucas Hedges, Kyle Chandler and Michelle Williams, it shows the story of a grief-stricken family going through one of the lowest moments in their lives. Nominated for 6 Academy Awards, with Affleck winning Best Actor and Kenneth Lonergan winning Best Original Screenplay. Today, I'll talk about the cinematography behind Manchester by the Sea, talking about the pre-production process, how they portray grief in the cinematography, and what equipment Jodie Lee Lipes used to create the look for the film. Before Lonergan was attached to the project, Matt Damon and John Krasinski had brainstormed the idea of an emotionally crippled handyman, with Krasinski set to star and Damon to direct. Both became occupied with other projects, and as Damon had worked with Lonergan on his 2011 film Margaret, he took the idea to him, and Lonergan worked on the script for 3 years. It was in 2014 when Casey Affleck was cast in the role, as Damon said that he wouldn't give the role to anyone but him. They later attached Michelle Williams and Kyle Chandler in early 2015. When Lucas Hedges joined the film, Lonergan said that his audition was special, as he was unsure how Hedges would perform due to his different background to the characters. When they got around to production, both Damon and Krasinski stayed on as producers, with Krasinski being an executive producer. Before we even know the story behind Lee, we already know that something has happened to him in the past, whether it's his monotone voice or just the woe that surrounds him. When we see him in his workplace, he is often framed within a frame, separating us from him. We see him through the doorways, windows, but there is always something between us. When in the bar, the use of central framing creates a sense of loneliness, as he is the only one facing the camera. But on the reverse, we also see shots from his point of view, being through the bar. Lonergan's use of long takes throughout the film allows us to exist in the character's world, creating a sense of awareness for the audience. The long takes are usually just when a character is sitting or doing something that you or I would do every day, but in film, it allows us to create a bond with the character. The scene showing Lucas Hedges' character, Patrick, trying to close the freezer makes us feel so much more sympathy for him than before, as this is the first time in the film in which he is really showing his grief for the loss of his father. The panic of trying to close the door that won't close, the ambient diegetic sound, and the static frame all add to the uneasy feeling that this scene creates. This is also the first time in the film that Lee shows real concern for Patrick, asking how he is, what's happening, and even if he wants to go to the hospital. The frame showing Patrick trying to close the freezer is simple yet compelling, with them only tilting down to show him pick up the food. The shot of Lee is similar, in the way that we have a simple composition, yet it is engaging to look at. The majority of the film is shot wide, only using close-ups for more everyday tasks, such as talking to a lawyer or just drinking at the bar, giving more meaning to the wider and more natural shots. This scene shows Affleck's character Lee in the police station being interviewed about the fire and his children's deaths. We have Lee at the lowest point in his life, describing to the officers what happened that night. The wide shot shows 2 windows with a bar in between, separating Lee from the officers in a physical sense. Once we switch to inside the office, Lee is in the centre of the frame, which often represents tension in the scene. They also use a slow dolly in to show the importance of this moment in the story, telling the audience to focus on what the character is saying.
The fireman said they pulled Randy out. She's passed out downstairs. And then the furnace blew, and they couldn't go back in again.
After describing what happened, he leaves the office and grabs an officer's gun, attempting to shoot himself in the head. We go from a very laid-back scene in terms of editing and framing to frantic in seconds. They quickly cut between shots from the office to the foyer, whilst also using a longer lens, keeping the audience separated from Lee. The simple cinematography, heightened score, and strong dialogue makes for possibly the most powerful scene in the entire film.
So I can go?
Lipes shot the film digitally, using the Arri Alexa XT paired with Canon's K35s and Ingenu's Optimos. The K35s are some of the most popular vintage lenses for cinematography, as they easily create flare and give the image a softer and lower contrast quality. They are also extremely fast, with the apertures being between T1.3 and T1.5. This allows for an extremely shallow depth of field. With the Optimos, Angenieux created high-end spherical zoom lenses with minimal breathing, being suited for more extreme conditions. They shot the film in a 1.85:1 aspect ratio, giving it a wider than normal look, whilst also being a good compromise between the normal 16:9 and anamorphic 2.39:1. I hope you enjoyed this short cinematography breakdown of Manchester by the Sea. If you have any recommendations of films that you would like to see me break down, leave a comment down below. If you found this video helpful, then please leave a thumbs up. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.